morning, students. Welcome to Sri GM Donda e-learning class. I'm your English teacher Priyanka Srivastav, and today we are going to study chapter number 10, The Banyan Tree, by author Ruskin Bond. Students, this chapter is about a boy who came to live with his grandparents, became the owner of a large old banyan tree that housed squirrels, snails, and butterflies. A squirrel becomes his friend on the tree. They become so friendly that the squirrel started taking bits of food from his hand. In spring, the tree was the noisiest place in the garden with a variety of birds chirping on it. The boy made a rough platform on which he used to sit and read adventurous books during hot summers. From here, he also watched the world under the tree. One day, he watched a fight between a mongoose and a cobra while sitting on the tree. Because of the hot summer, everyone was indoors. The boy was thinking of going to the pond and have a swim with the buffaloes and Ramu. Suddenly, a huge black cobra and a mongoose came out. The cobra was aware of the super fighting deadly skills of the mongoose. However, the cobra was no less. He was also fast and had sharp fangs of deadly poison. None of them knew that the boy was watching them. Other than the boy, two other spectators of Mina and a crow were also watching them from the clump of cactus. The mongoose opened the attack. The crow and the myna also joined them in the fight and attacked each other in the air but returned safely to the cactus twice. The third time the myna returned safely but the crow was hit by the cobra. The injured crow fell on the ground. The fight between the mongoose and the snake was still continued. Finally, the mongoose defeated the snake. The snake resigned and stopped struggling. The mongoose dragged and pushed it inside the bushes. The myna was watching all this. It gave a congratulatory shrill and flew away. So, students, this is a story. With this type of story, we are going to study from your textbook. So, let's start up with your textbook and understand the story in deep. So, kindly open page number 124 of chapter number 10. The fight of the cobra and the mongoose is a classical drama often seen in India, and the outcome is largely the same. The mongoose is not immune to the venomous bite but is faster and quicker in motion than the snake. The cobra assumes a posture of defense and attempts to reach the animal by sweeping strike, but the quick moving mongoose jumps out of reach and comes at the snake from another directions. Because the snake can get into striking position again, the constant movement tries and discourages the snake, and the mongoose is finally able to leap in close and bury its teeth in the snake's neck, usually serving the joints of its vertebra. So, students, here the fight of the cobra and the mongoose is a classic drama often seen in India, and the outcome is largely the same. The mongoose is not immune to the venomous bite but is faster and quicker in motion than the snake. The cobra assumes a posture of defense and attempts to reach the animal by sweeping strike. But the quick moving mongoose jumps out of reach and comes at the snake from the another direction. Before the snake can get into striking position again, this constant movement tires and discourages the snake, and the mongoose is finally able to leap in close and bury its teeth in the snake's neck, usually severing the joints of its vertebra. So, students, now move on to the first part of the story. Though the house and grounds belonged to my grandparents, the magnificent old banyan tree was mine, chiefly because grandfather at 65 could no longer climb it. Here, magnificent means marvelous, wonderful. The author was at his grandparents' house and he claimed that the banyan tree belonged to him, though the house owner were his grandparents. He said so because his grandfather was 65 years old and was unable to climb the tree. Its spreading branches, which hung to the ground and took root again, forming a number of twisting passages, gave me endless pleasure. Among them were squirrels and snails and butterflies. The tree was older than the house, older than grandfather, as old as Dehradun itself. I could hide myself in its branches behind thick green leaves and spy on the world below. Here, spy means secret agent and twisting means twiddle, turn. The author felt very happy and joyful to see the opened out branches of the tree, which is used to hang from the tree in bunches to the ground. These roots had formed loops. Various animals like squirrels, snails, and butterflies were living in the turns of those loops. The tree was very old, older than the house and the grandfather. It was as old as the city of Dehradun. Now, the next paragraph. My first friend was a small grey squirrel, arching his back and sniffing into the air. He seemed at first to resent my invasion of his privacy, but when he found that I did not arm myself with catapult or air gun, he became friendly. And when I started bringing him pieces of cake and biscuit, he grew quite bold and was soon taking morsels from hand. Before long, he was delving into my pockets and helping himself to whatever he could find. He was very young squirrel, and his friends and relatives probably thought him foolish and headstrong for trusting a human. So, students, here catapult means a forked stick with an elastic band fastened to the two prongs, used by children for shooting small stones. Invasion means invading a country or a region with an armed force. Spy means watch secretly. Resent means dislike, feel angry about. Morsels means small bits of foods. So here, first of all, the author became the friend with a small squirrel. He arched his back and smelled into the air. In the beginning, he did not like the author's invasions into his privacy, but when they realized that the author was not armed with anything to offend him, he became friendly. Soon the author started bringing him tidbits of food like cakes and biscuits. The squirrel started eating the small morsels from his hands. Very soon the squirrel started digging into the author's pockets from the whatever he could find. He was young squirrel and his kin must have thought him to be a fool for trusting a human. Turn the next page, student. Fourth paragraph. In the spring, when the banyan tree was full of small red figs, birds of all kinds would flock into branches. The red-bottomed bulbul, cheerful and greedy parrots, myna and crows, squabbing with one another during the fig season, the banyan tree was the noisiest place in the garden. So, students, here squabbling means fighting over the small things. In the spring season, the banyan tree was used to be full bloom. It used to be full of small red figs. Different birds like bulbul, parrots, myna and crows used to fight with each other over the small things. Their voice together used to make the place noisy in the garden in the fig season. Now the next paragraph, fifth paragraph. Halfway up the tree, I had built a crude platform where I would spend the afternoons when it was not too hot. I could reach there, propping myself up against the tree with a cushion from the living room. The Treasure Island, Huckleberry Finn, and the story of Dr. Dolittle were some of the books that made up my banyan tree library. So, students, here crude means primitive or raw, propping myself up means leaning against. On the tree, the author had made a platform of primitive style. In the afternoon, when it was not very hot, he used to spend his time there. He had put a cushion there which he had picked from the drawing room and was able to read at this place. While leaning against the tree, he had set up a small tree library, and the books that he read there were Treasure Islands, Huckleberry Finn, and the story of Dr. Dolittle. Now, student, last paragraph, sixth paragraph. When I did not feel like reading, I could look down through the leaves at the world below. And on one particular afternoon, I had a grandstand view of that classic of the Indian wilds, a fight between mongoose and a cobra. So here, student, in this paragraph, author says that when he did not like to reading, he could sit below the banyan tree, and one afternoon he saw a fight between mongoose and a cobra. Now, student, second part of this chapter, seventh paragraph. The warm breezes of approaching summer had sent everyone, including the gardener, into the house. I was feeling drowsy myself, wondering if I should go to the pond and have a swim with Ramu and the buffaloes when I saw a huge black cobra gliding out of a clump of cactus. At the same time, a mongoose emerged from the bushes and went straight from the cobra for the cobra. So here, student, gliding means sliding, moving smoothly. Clump means bunch. So here in this paragraph, because of the hot summer, everyone was inside the house. Though the author was also feeling sleepy and lazy. Rather, he was deciding to visit the pond to swim with Ramu and the buffaloes when he noticed a cobra coming out of a clump of cactus and a mongoose from the bushes. The mongoose came out of the bushes and went straight to the cobra. Its paragraph. In a clearing beneath the banyan tree in bright sunshine, they came face to face. The cobra knew only too well that the grey mongoose, 3 feet long, was a super fighter, clever and aggressive, but the cobra too was a skillful and experienced fighter. He could move swiftly and strike with the speed of light, and the sacks behind his long sharp fangs were full of deadly poison. It was to be a battle of champions. So here, students, gliding means moving smoothly, clump means a group of bushes, emerged means came out, clearing means an open space in a forest where there are no trees, sacks means a part like a bag, fangs means long sharp teeth, grandstand view means a clear view from the best position. So here, student, both the cobra and the mongoose came before each other under the banyan tree. The cobra as well as aware that the mongoose had superb fighting skills, but he himself was also an experienced fighter and had deadly poisonous, long sharp teeth. Thus, it was a battle between two champs. Now, the next paragraph. Hissing defiance, his forked tongue darting in and out, the cobra raced 3 of his 6 feet off the ground and spread his broad spectacled hood. The mongoose bushed his tail. The long hair on his spine stood up. So students, here defiance means rebellion, resistance, and dart means move quickly or suddenly. So here students, creating a hissing sound in its defiance, moving his tongue quickly in and out, the cobra raised itself from the ground and spread its hood to fight and attack. The mongoose also showed his readiness to fight by brushing his tail and raising his hair. Now the 10th paragraph. Though the combatants were unaware of my presence in the tree, they were soon made aware of the arrival of 2 other spectators. One was a manna and the other was a jungle crow. They had seen these preparations for battle and had settled on the cactus to watch the outcome. Had they been content only to watch, all would have been well with both of them. So students, combatants means participants in a fight. Spectators means those who watch a show, games, etc. Outcome means result. The participants in the fight were not aware of the author's presence in the tree, but 2 spectators, a manna and a crow, were noticing clearly. They witnessed everything and were settled participate in the fight. Next paragraph, 11th paragraph. The cobra stood on the defensive, swaying slowly from side to side, trying to mesmerize the mongoose into making a false move. But the mongoose knew the power of his opponent's glassy, unwinking eyes and refused to meet them. Instead, he fixed his gaze at a point just below the cobra's hood and opened the attack. Here defensive means defending or protective. Here the cobra was trying to spellbind the mongoose with his movements, but the mongoose was well aware of the power of its opponents. So he fixed his focus on attacking the cobra at a point just below the cobra's hood and started the attack. Next paragraph, 12th paragraph. Moving forward quickly until he was just within the cobra's reach, the mongoose made a pretend move to one side. Immediately the cobra struck. His great hood came down so swiftly that I thought nothing could save the mongoose. But the little fellow jumped neatly to one side and darted in as swiftly as the cobra, biting the snake on the back and darting away again out of reach. Here pretended means acted. So students, in this paragraph, the mongoose made false quick movements very close to the cobra. The cobra attacked and moved its hood down so quickly that it seemed the mongoose would not be saved. But this small creature was quick to jump and move on one side. It also beat the snake on its back and again moved away out of its reach. Next paragraph, 13. At the same moment that the cobra struck, the crow and the manna hurled themselves at him, only to collide heavily in mid-air, striking insults at each other. They returned to the cactus plant. A few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back. Here students, collide means come into conflict and glistened means shown. So in this paragraph, the moment of the cobra attack, the crow and the manna threw themselves at him to come into conflict. After making the loud short noises of attack, they came back to the cactus plant. Drops of blood were shining on the cobra's back. The next paragraph, the cobra struck and missed again. The mongoose sprang aside, jumped in and beat. Again the birds dived at the snake, bumped into each other instead, and returned striking to the safety of the cactus. So students, here turn the next page. So students, in this paragraph, cobra attacked but missed it. The mongoose again jumped aside. The birds again tried to attack the cobra but were collided with each other. So they came back to the cactus crying. Now the next paragraph, 15th. The bird round followed the same course as the first, but with one dramatic difference. The crow and the myna, still determined to take part in the proceeding, dived at the cobra, but this time they missed each other as well as their mark. The myna flew on and reached its perch, but the crow tried to pull up in the mid-air and turn back. In the second that it took the bird to do this, the cobra wiped his head back and struck with great force, his snout thudding against the crow's body. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden. It fluttered about for a while when they lay still. The myna remained on the cactus plant. So here student, in this paragraph, the third time again the birds tried to attack on the cobra in the same manner, but this time there was a change. They didn't collide with each other. The myna flew back to its shelter, but the crow tried to continue the fight in the air and come back. In the second trial, the cobra also moved suddenly and attacked the crow with full of force. Now, the next paragraph, 16. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden. I fluttered about for a while, then lay still. The myna remained on the cactus plant, and when, go to the next page, the snake and the mongoose returned to the fight. Very wisely decided not to interfere again. The cobra was weakening, and the mongoose, walking fearlessly up to it, raised himself on his short legs and with a lightning snap had the big snake by the snout. The cobra writhed and lashed about in a frightening manner and even collided itself about the mongoose, but to no avail. The little fellow hung grimly on until the snake had ceased to struggle. He then smelled along its quivering length, gripped it round the hood, and dragged it into the bushes. So students, in this paragraph, the author noticed the bird falling 20 feet away. It kept shaking its body for some time, but then it became still and dead. The myna was on the cactus plant and she didn't interfere in the fight. After this, the cobra was weakened and defeated. The mongoose attacked fearlessly. It exhausted the cobra with his swift and fast attack moves and finally killed it. It caught the cobra from its hood and dragging it, pushed it into the bushes. Here, grimly means in a very seriously manner. Now, the next paragraph, the myna dropped cautiously to the ground, hopped about, peered into the bushes from a safe distance, and then, with a shrill cry of congratulation, flew away. So students, here shrill means high pitched. The myna fell down to the ground and hopping about she reached the bushes. Giving a congratulatory high pitched sound, she flew away. So students, this is all about your chapter. I hope you understand this chapter and enjoyed a lot. Thank you.